Welcome to the Freaky Stories podcast. Get ready for two dives into the delightfully strange. Today's Freaky Probe explores two tales of unexpected challenges and how ordinary individuals cope with the extraordinary.
Ooh, sounds intriguing. I'm ready to get freaky.
The first story, Space Oddity, throws you into the terrifying isolation of space with an astronaut who has lost his memory. We have excerpts detailing his disorientation and the cryptic clues he finds to survive. What would it be like to wake up in the cold vacuum of space with no idea who you are?
Just thinking about it sends chills down my spine. I can't even imagine the panic.
Our second story, David vs. Goliath, Galactic Edition, takes a decidedly more humorous turn. Imagine a gamer nerd, more familiar with virtual battles than real-life combat, mistakenly chosen to represent Earth in an intergalactic duel. We'll explore how his unique skills might just be humanity's unlikely savior. Could your gaming prowess actually save the world?
I mean, I spend a lot of time gaming, so I'm hoping for the best.
All right, let's dive into the deep unknown with Space Oddity. The story starts with our amnesiac astronaut waking up on what appears to be a space station. Absolutely no memory of how he got there or even who he is. The first thing he sees is a note that simply says, breathe.
Wow, talk about a minimalist approach to crisis management. One word to jolt you back to the most basic human need.
Exactly. Breathing, something we do without a second thought, suddenly becomes this urgent, conscious act of survival, and the story just throws you right into that visceral experience. Then he starts finding other notes, guiding him through these basic tasks. Find food and lock her 4, check oxygen levels at console 3, things that would be second nature to a trained astronaut.
But for him, each instruction is like a lifeline, a breadcrumb trail back to some semblance of functionality in this completely alien situation.
It makes you think, even without conscious memory, how much of our training, our instincts, are still embedded in us? Is it muscle memory, procedural memory? What would you call that?
Well, in neuroscience, we often talk about different types of memory. Explicit memory is what we use to recall facts and events like your name, your birthday, or what you had for breakfast. But procedural memory is all about knowing how to do things, like riding a bike or, in this case, operating a space station console. It seems like our astronaut might be relying heavily on procedural memory to survive.
It's fascinating, like some deeper part of his brain knows what to do even though his conscious mind is a complete blank. Then, the story introduces this element of danger and suspicion with a red note that screams, "Do not open comms."
Oh, red alert. That definitely ramps up the tension. Someone clearly doesn't want him talking to anyone.
Right. It's not just about survival now. There's this whole other layer of mystery. Is there a threat out there, or is it closer than he thinks?
It immediately makes you question everything. Is he a victim in some larger scheme? Or is there something about his own past that he's blocked out, something that makes him dangerous?
And then, the notes start getting even more specific. O2 leak. Patch kit behind panel 6. Okay, a problem, a solution. But then it takes this unsettling turn with sabotage.
Oh no, so it wasn't just a malfunction, someone's actively trying to harm him.
Exactly. And then the next note hits you with, "You did this." Now we're in a whole different territory. The story is playing with your assumptions, making you doubt everything you thought you knew.
It's brilliant storytelling. The unreliable narrator, the fragmented memories, the possibility that the protagonist could be both victim and perpetrator is a recipe for intense psychological suspense.
You're left wondering, is he being framed? Or is he suppressing some terrible memory of his own actions? And then, amidst all these frantic handwritten notes, he finds one that's different printed, almost official looking. It simply says, Captain Jonas.
Captain Jonas, is that his name? A clue to his identity. Or just another piece of the puzzle designed to mislead him.
It's impossible to tell at this point. But the story highlights that contrast, the different styles of the notes, almost like two conflicting voices inside his head. And against the explicit warning, against all better judgment, he activates a hidden comm panel. He reaches mission control, talks to a Dr. Sinclair, admits he has no memory.
And how does she react? With concern? With compassion?
Not quite. More like suspicion. She immediately orders him to deactivate comms and throws out this chilling question, who's sabotaging the mission? It confirms that something is deeply wrong.
Right. It's not just personal amnesia. It's connected to a wider threat, a potential breach of mission security. Dr. Sinclair's response is all about damage control, not the astronaut's well-being.
And it makes you wonder, is she part of the problem? Can he trust anyone at this point? As the story unfolds, the oxygen levels start plummeting. He's forced to act, to rely on these cryptic notes to survive. And what he discovers is horrifying. The leak isn't a malfunction. It's deliberate sabotage. Someone intentionally vented the oxygen supply.
Someone's trying to kill him. And it could be anyone, another crew member, someone back on Earth, maybe even Dr. Sinclair.
The circle of suspicion keeps widening. You're constantly second-guessing everyone's motives. The story masterfully keeps you on the edge of your seat. But in a testament to his training, to that ingrained knowledge, he manages to reroute auxiliary oxygen, surviving the immediate crisis. But his isolation, the mystery surrounding him, it only deepens.
He's alive, but he's still trapped in this terrifying situation surrounded by questions.
And then the final notes, they take this really intriguing turn. First, a blank page, nothing. And then in his own handwriting, a message. You're getting closer. Now remember.
It's almost like his past self knew this would happen, anticipated his amnesia, and left this trail of breadcrumbs for himself.
Oh, wow. That adds a whole new layer of complexity to the story. A message from his past self. It suggests a level of self-awareness, of premeditation that we haven't seen before. What was so important that he had to remember, even if it meant going through this ordeal. It's a question that lingers as the story ends with an incoming transmission from Dr. Sinclair. Is she coming to help? To finally reveal the truth? Or is she the one behind it all, coming to finish the job? We're left hanging on that cliffhanger, questioning everything: his identity, the motives of those around him, the very nature of reality as he perceives it.
Space Oddity is a masterclass in psychological thriller. It uses the backdrop of space, the isolation, the unknown, to explore themes of memory, trust, and the fragility of our own sense of self. It leaves you with more questions than answers, a lingering sense of unease, and a deep appreciation for the power of a well-told story.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about how much we rely on our memories to define who we are. Now let's shift gears completely, shall we? From the cold, sterile vacuum of space to something a bit more, well, nerdy. Our next story, David vs. Goliath, Galactic Edition, takes us on a wild ride with a protagonist who's a bit more comfortable in virtual worlds than facing real-life threats.
Sounds like my kind of hero. Bring on the gamer geek.
David, our hero, is the quintessential gamer nerd. The story starts with him in his natural habitat, bathed in the neon glow of his gaming setup, deeply immersed in the lore of some fantastical online world, an expert on Orcish mating rituals, no less.
Ah, the joys of specialized knowledge. We all have our passions, our areas of expertise, even if they seem a bit niche to the outside world.
And often those niche skills turn out to be more valuable than we could have ever imagined, which is exactly what happens to David, because while he's busy conquering digital dungeons, the real world gets a rather unexpected visitor. Not a grand, intimidating spaceship, mind you, but a bulbous, slightly rusty-looking thing that crash lands unceremoniously on the school football field.
Talk about an anticlimactic arrival. I bet Coach Grumbly was thrilled about that.
Oh, I'm sure he had some choice words for those extraterrestrial parking violators. But here's where things get really interesting. Due to a series of increasingly ridiculous events involving a misplaced energy drink, a rogue frisbee, and his overly enthusiastic friend Maya David gets chosen as Earth's representative for something called a first contact duel.
A duel, like an actual fight. This scrawny gamer against, what, an alien warrior?
You got it. And not just any alien warrior. We're talking about a 9-foot-tall monstrosity with claws, fangs, and a general aura of, I eat planets for breakfast. David, on the other hand, well, he's still covered in alien goop from his unfortunate encounter with the landing craft.
Oh, this is priceless. The underdog scenario to end all underdog scenarios. You can't help but root for the gamer against all odds.
And the story leans into that absurdity wholeheartedly. David's training montage is a comedy of errors. You've got a disgruntled gym teacher who's probably more used to yelling at teenagers to do push-ups than prepping someone for intergalactic combat. Maya's frantically scouring the internet for any scrap of information on alien culture with some particularly unhelpful advice about tentacle wrestling.
I can just imagine the chaos. And let's not forget the ever-reliable trope of mom's stress baking. Cookies for everyone.
Because what else do you do when your son is about to fight a giant alien for the fate of the planet? But amidst all the chaos and absurdity, something interesting starts to happen. David's gamer brain kicks in. He stops seeing this duel as a physical fight and starts analyzing it like it's a video game. The arena with its lasers and exploding pits becomes a level to be conquered. The alien champion is just a boss with predictable attack patterns.
He's essentially gamifying reality, taking the skills he's honed in virtual worlds and applying them to this very real, very dangerous situation.
Exactly. And it's brilliant. Instead of trying to overpower the alien, he uses classic gaming tactics. He kites it, drawing it into traps, exploiting its weaknesses, turning the environment to his advantage. And the whole time, his inner monologue is hilarious. He's talking about Boss Fight Tuesday, comparing the alien to a raid boss from his favorite game.
It's that relatable element that makes the story work so well. He's taking something familiar, the world of gaming, and using it to understand and navigate something utterly alien. It's a testament to the adaptability of the human mind, even in the face of the ridiculous.
And the way he wins is a masterpiece of unconventional thinking. He hacks a control panel, using the coding skills Maya hastily taught him, strategically places those stress-baked cookies as bait, constructs a makeshift slingshot out of joystick parts, and with a little bit of physics-bending luck, sends the alien champion tumbling headfirst into an unstable reactor.
It's a triumph of brains over brawn, ingenuity over brute force. And let's be honest, a little bit of luck never hurts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. Earth's reward for this improbable victory isn't galactic domination or advanced weaponry. Instead, we get bumped up to the scrappy underdogs trade route.
The what? That's surprisingly specific.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. But essentially, it means we get to trade cookies for alien tech and game walkthroughs for anti-gravity boots.
Ha, that's fantastic. I mean, who knew cookies were the key to intergalactic diplomacy?
Right. It's such a wonderfully absurd and heartwarming conclusion. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our military might or our technological prowess. It's our creativity, our resilience, our ability to adapt and find solutions in the most unexpected ways, and apparently our baking skills.
It's a refreshing take on the whole alien encounter trope. Sometimes the most ordinary things, cookies, video games, a little bit of ingenuity can be the most powerful weapons in our arsenal.
Exactly. And it leaves you with this sense of optimism, a belief that even the most seemingly insignificant among us can rise to the occasion and achieve extraordinary things. The story ends with a new challenge. Space Pirates, this time framed as a boss fight remix, with Maya eagerly prepping for round 2.
Because of course there's a sequel hook. You can't just leave us hanging with all that alien tech and anti-gravity boots just lying around. There are galaxies to explore.
So there you have it. 2 very different freaky probes, each exploring unique aspects of the human experience in the face of the extraordinary. Space Oddity plunged us into the depths of psychological suspense, forcing us to confront the fragility of memory and the terrifying prospect of losing ourselves.
It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest threats come from within, from the shadows of our own minds.
Well, David V.S. Goliath, Galactic Edition, offered a lighter, more humorous take, reminding us that sometimes the most unexpected skills can be our greatest assets. It's a celebration of the underdog, the power of unconventional thinking, and the enduring appeal of cookies in intergalactic diplomacy.
Because let's face it, who doesn't love a good cookie? Especially when it comes with the side of advanced alien tech.
So, which freaky probe resonated with you more? Do you find the psychological depths of Space Oddity more intriguing? Or are you drawn to the lighthearted heroism of David V.S. Goliath? What hidden strengths do you possess that might just save the day or the planet in some unforeseen future scenario?
These stories are great reminders that we never really know what challenges life might throw our way, but with a little bit of creativity, a dash of humor, and maybe a batch of freshly baked cookies, we can overcome just about anything.
We encourage you to ponder those questions, to explore those possibilities. Join us next time on the Freaky Stories podcast for more fascinating and thought-provoking explorations into the strange and unusual. Rate and follow to ensure you don't miss our next freaky probe.